is the first sketchbook that I bought, and it's from a brand Sakura, and it's the same brand that is actually making those amazing 𝚘𝚘𝚘 pens. And the quality is actually pretty good, I have to admit, but then again I don't like it as much because it is transforming the pencil when you draw with the pencil, and then on the other side when you draw something it is transforming it to other papers, so I wouldn't say that that's good, but it is my first one, so it's okay. Open it up, and here it is. I actually started my first page and first sketching out this summer, and I thought it would be really cool to really learn something new and to just give into drawing. And as you can see, I kind of made this vintage font where it says sketchbook, and it was just done with a plain pencil. And then I drew this little fox because I love foxes, and a little fairy with the stars. We have deer sketches. As you can see, this one is the only one that is done with a black pen, and it's because I was putting this one for my Inktober challenge, and it's a really cute illustration that is actually from Pinterest, the real photo, and then I turned it into illustration. And I also drew some like other animals and fruit, and I was just really practicing a lot with animal drawings, which was really fun to me. And as you can see, the deer saga continues, and I tried to put different positions with the deer, and it's not perfect, but as I said, it's like my first sketchbook and I'm still practicing, so I would say it's pretty okay. We have even more deer, and this one is a bit more painted, as you can see, also with like just a pencil. And then study on the deer generally, as you can see, their little legs, their ears, I was studying that. Some little mushroom sketches too. Here the mushroom sketches are as well, because I was crazy for the mushroom back then. And then I tried that little circling, which I thought it was really useful, but sometimes I do that and sometimes I don't. I like this little fella, I think he is really cute. And I especially like how this one turned out because it seems really realistic. For deer, we have foxes, and I was really into this fall aesthetic back then, and I really wanted to know how to draw a fox. And as you can see, different positions and different styles, and I also think it's pretty cute, but yeah, I'm still not there yet. On this page, I was actually pretty brave and I tried to draw scenery. And this is a waiting house with the tree. And those are actually all of those places that I visited during summer and that inspired me. I will show you pictures of them, and then you can see whether this is actually realistic or not. And this is a beautiful little house on the hill that was just so pretty when I was there, with all the beautiful mountains and hills, and there was just this little house with a cute little road back there, and I thought I have to capture it with little sketching, and that could maybe later turn into a real art. And this, I don't know whether you can see this, but it's supposed to be like water and then surrounded with little plants and with clouds. I think it's from Pinterest. I don't think it's the real life scenery that I visited, but I don't know. I think I just wanted to see how well I can draw the water, and it's not the best kind of drawing. I prefer this one, for example. The next page I added some color, and I think it looks more realistic and kind of prettier, and the deer are represented better than just with a plain like pencil. And this is actually done with Dumbo brush pen, and I was trying this out for my bullet journal and to see how it looks like this, because I was really scared to just draw in my bullet journal and then paint it with Dumbo brush pens, because I really didn't want to ruin my bullet journal, so there is this story why this is painted. Those two pages are actually so messy, and they're the messiest ones in my journal. And the story behind this is that it was actually drawn in a zoo, and I was trying to sketch out all of those animals. You probably can see which ones are those, but I don't think that it turned out well. I have a whole other video on how I do this, and I was filming the animals, and it didn't turn out the best, but the video itself was really fun, and it was really funny how people were just observing me drawing this. They were commenting me, and that was just a whole nother experience. This page is a mess too. I was actually sketching out male faces, and I was doing that for my Jungkook drawing, which I did on the other page. But as I said, the paper really transferred, where on the other side I was doing this pencil drawing, colored pencils. And then the paper was transferring all over, and that's why this sketchbook is not the best. I wouldn't recommend it if you are drawing in it with different media, and I would just recommend it maybe for like this type of line art, or maybe Pigma Micron with Tombow brush pens or some other brush pens. That works too. Then I drew, as you can see, Ariel with pencils. And I also drew this Jungkook portrait. I don't know whether this is a good representation of him, but yeah, I tried it. What comes next is basically all of my Inktober challenges shown in just one video, and I break through all of those little drawings and why I use them. First of all, this one I did not post because I didn't like it. I was trying to combine the two elements. The first one was basically fairy, and then it was, I think, magic or deer, and I just didn't like it, so I didn't post it as a short on YouTube. And then I did this one instead, and this one was like the first day of my Inktober challenge, and it was supposed to be a cute little fairy that is living in a mushroom. Then, as you can see, this one was for the day 3, and I drew this typical witch on a broom, and it was day 3 because, as I mentioned, this deer drawing was for the day 2. I'm very proud of this squirrel holding a giant acorn, and then I have this like enchanted theme that I kind of did for myself. And I'm not exactly proud with this one, and I think with other like illustrations you will see that my style changed a lot, and I feel like I actually grew a lot when I was drawing each day. The other page we have eyes. I wasn't complicating here, I just created a simple eye without actually looking into a reference. And then I was drawing this cute little ghost. I was actually pretty crazy with how the black pen was looking here, and it added a beautiful contrast. So later you will see a bit more like blackness into my illustrations. And this one, my most popular video on YouTube. And I also like this one. It's like a little, it's not exactly castle, it's more like a mansion or something. And it's covered with ivy. And I also found inspiration on Pinterest, and I think that I have to create and draw more like this because it's looking amazing. I was basically doing 2 illustrations per page, and I mean the sketchbook still has place because it has a lot of papers, but somehow I do feel like I have to finish it quickly because I don't really like how the paper transfers. That is not exactly good enough for sketchbook if you want to mix media. This is a fox illustration, and it's a bit different from the foxes that I created, before, and I really like this one. It's like I did a different type of line art here, than I did with other drawings. And actually the face, I really have trouble with showing the face of fox because it always looks weird. But I think that here I really represented this like foxy eye, so I like this one. And then the pumpkin is just a plain old pumpkin with a little ghost behind and the curtain and everything. I was also designing this myself. And then I didn't post this. No, I think I did. I don't remember anymore. But it's the candy prompt, and I did a little bat among the candy. I think it looks okay. I just don't like this white pen that I put here. It's kind of bad, so maybe that was supposed to be different. But yeah, I think I definitely did not post this one on YouTube. Yeah, for the candy prop, now I remember I actually put this one instead of like the bat one, and this one looks better because it has this like skeleton hand holding a little candy. I think it's adorable, and with this trick or treat and this spooky font, I think it's cool. And then for the golden one, I drew the Eiffel Tower with some moon, and for the golden I wanted to just put something in black and white, okay, but I also wanted to implement the golden effect with my golden pen, of course, and I'm okay with this one. I just didn't like it as much, and I didn't put it on my like Inktober drawings. Now the sword challenge, I was actually doing this one in a hurry because I didn't have time to make this one really, and then I just did this from my head. And the first time that I actually drew this sword was in college, and I was having this lecture and it was really boring, so I thought, okay, maybe I can like have some practice when I was at college for my Inktober. And then I was first practicing on my like notebook for school, and then I actually drew this here. And then as you can see here, I tried to draw Tinkerbell, and she was like in this glass bottle. And I think this one, yeah, this one I designed for the golden challenge, and then the Eiffel Tower was just, he was cancelled. Then we have the bridge illustration, and I don't know whether this is like a good representation of a bridge, but I wanted to make this like Parisian kind of bridge with all those like cool elements. And then I added some like flowers and trees and stuff. This is supposed to be water, so as I said, I don't know exactly whether this is good or not, but I like it. I like really the contrast between black and white. Now maybe the two most beautiful illustrations here in my sketchbook. It is a snake prop and also a gown, but I decided to create a lady, a princess, for example, in a gown. And the snake is just so beautiful. I also took inspiration from Pinterest, and I think this was like kind of made as a tattoo or something, but I really wanted to add a black background. And then the gown, I was taking inspiration from a real photograph of this beautiful woman in a dress, and I loved the flower details. I was really taking a lot of like liberty to make those flowers, and then I just added them all around the dress, and I think this illustration looks really flowy, and it has like this dynamic, and the woman is looking so gracefully and like a real princess. So yeah, those two are definitely favorites. For the sleeping prop, I couldn't resist but to make this adorable fawn sleeping, and it's a really simple illustration, but I really wanted to create a fawn because back then I was actually, during that time, I got myself this beautiful eyeshadow palette which has Bambi, and it's just so amazing with all the shades, and that's why I was really inspired to create like a deer. And this one is kind of lame, I know, but I wanted to illustrate this beautiful window, and then the view behind it was some gorgeous scenery, and this is supposed to be Bled in Slovenia, and I was actually there, and it's such a gorgeous place. I think that Slovenia is like one of those countries that just have such beautiful places and sceneries, and I think they really value like nature. So you should definitely visit this Bled place because it's amazing, and it really is. This is like a little chapel that is on an island, and then you have those beautiful boats that actually come to this little church. Next on, we have our rose prop, and I have to admit that I don't really know how to draw a rose. I always struggle with all of those elements that have to go all around it, and then the petals. Then this one, I'm also really proud on this one. I think it looks like magical and so like also vintage, and I love those moon elements, the way moon is having a photo, and then this like elf kind of lady. Then I drew a globe with the flowers, and I don't know, it's pretty self-explanatory. But for the books prop, I actually drew little books and that were on top of each other, and then on top of all of those books was this vase with flowers. And as I was listening to Taylor Swift's new album, I was inspired to really just write down this little lyric of her song Lavender Haze. And then we have carriage, and I was really scared on how to make the carriage because it has all of those like scary and very detailed elements, but in the end it looks pretty vintage. And we are having the last page, but also a pretty good one. So I did this potion element, and I drew a little frog inside a potion with crystal, and then I designed this like bubbly water effect. And this one is also something that should be definitely turned into a tattoo or something. And then on the last couple of Inktober illustrations, I was running out of inspiration and I really didn't want to design anymore, to be honest. But I came up with this mushroom prop, and as you can see, this is Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and she is just looking at this gigantic mushroom. Here are the last two drawings of my sketchbook for now, and this is like a key design. I designed this vintage key, and then there was this cute mouse on top of the key, and he was looking at the moon, and then there was like this mountain element. And then for the last one, I have a cloak actually, and I designed, and I found this also from Pinterest, lady holding, it's supposed to be a fox again, but I don't know what is this reminding you of exactly. But yeah, she is basically having a cloak and she is holding a fox, let's say. And I was also very lazy with designing this one. And those are basically all of my props, and also just generally my sketchbook. And I just wanted to let you know that if you want to see how I designed all of those like illustrations specifically, you can go to my shorts page, and then you will see all of those designed. And for the last thing that I wanted to let you know is that this is not a perfect sketchbook. I'm not like a professional artist, as you can see, but I'm trying my best, and I'm really trying to design and draw what I like doing, and I try to improve every single time. So yeah, this is my first sketchbook, and I'm okay with that. There is plenty more room to actually fill in those pages, and I have to say that I'm excited for it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see each other very soon. Bye!